So is it Brussels sprout or Brussels sprout?
Welcome to Crocs in the Kitchen.
I'm Jessica.
And I am Brian. Well, Jessica, it is in fact Brussels sprout. As in, that it would be a singular. So if it were a plural, it'd be Brussels sprouts. Unfortunately, we tend to just shorten it and combine it into Brussels sprouts, but there is an actual S there. Kind of like it's named after the city in Belgium. And so... Brussels, yes. And so it's Brussels sprout. So it'd be like...
So it's a Brussels sprout.
Yeah.
A Brussels kind of sprout.
So it'd be like St. Louis's something, you know?
It's just weird to have... Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. It's just named after a place.
Who knew?
Yep. But we never really ate Brussels sprouts before. You know that? We never really had them. I'd had them in stuff before, you know, maybe and we bought that stuff from Trader Joe's. It was like
the shaved Brussels sprouts. Shaved Brussels sprouts,
but it was nothing ever really it never really got me to try them in any other way or cook them. And then all of a sudden we were at Trader Joe's one day and I saw that they had a bag of Brussels sprouts and I was just like, yeah, let's go ahead and get that. I want to mess around with this, you know, because I know people talk about cooking it all the time. So I got the bag and I opened it up. I had no idea what to do with it. So I watched a video on how to prep Brussels sprouts and I watched that. And then I cooked them in a very simple sauce with a little bit of lemon juice and then finished it off with a tiny little sprinkling of salt on top, right? Real basic setup. And it was awesome, right? So then I was like, how can I make this better? And then that's when I stumbled onto the recipe that we did in the last video for the dressing.
What did you call it?
Brian's Sweet and Smoky All-Purpose Dressing. Because why not? So we are going to show you just a couple of different ways to make these. We made one in the air fryer, we made one in the oven, and also how to prep the Brussels sprouts and all of that. And keep in mind, I am not a professional chef. I don't know if I did this the right way or not. I did this my way. And I think that I did a pretty good job. It tastes good, I know that much.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is a Brussels sprout?
A Brussels sprout is a pea-sized cabbage.
Aw, that's so cute.
That's the easiest way to explain it. That's literally what it is. They're basically tiny cabbages. Aww. And if it grew into a big size, you would have a big cabbage as opposed to a small cabbage. These are pretty big though. Yes, these are actually from a St. Louis company that we found here. We're selling it at the store. So glad to support a local business.
Well, should we get to cooking?
Yes, let's get to cooking. So the first thing you will need for the recipe is, of course, Brussels sprouts. And the first thing that you're going to have to do with these is you have to prep them. And I am not a professional chef, obviously, so I am just going by what I learned from other people. But they recommend that you trim off the oxidized part of the stem, and then you can pull away any leaves that are bad or are just loose off of there, or maybe possibly bitten or eaten by bugs. Just remove those to where you get to a nice looking part of the plant. And after that, you can split it into half, you can split it into quarter, you can do it however you want, or you can leave it whole. But if you do leave it whole, they do suggest that you carve an X into the stem part, so that way it cooks a little bit easier as you are cooking it whole. But I like to cut them in half and just have these nice little nuggets to eat. After that, I squeezed 1/2 of a lemon onto my Brussels sprouts, and I actually added in a little bit more after this just because we had a little bit left over from when we were making the dressing. So I just put that on as well. There, very simple process, just stir to coat. Just put them all onto your preferred baking tray. We of course are using our tray from the air fryer, which is an amazing tray. You spread them out to where they got a little bit of room, and then you are ready to actually cook them. And this is our Ninja Foodie air fryer oven. I set this to 375 for 15 minutes. And this has become a primary appliance for us in the household just for how quickly it does everything. I put this in while it was preheating. It preheats in about a minute and then it starts cooking and it is just phenomenal. About halfway through, maybe a little bit over, I actually ended up rotating the tray around just so I can get an even coat because it does kind of tend to cook the left corner a little bit faster than the right corner. And now for the dressing. This is actually a small batch version of the dressing that we made. So it's just 1 date, 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a teaspoon of tahini, and just a couple drops of liquid smoke. From there, you just mix it all up and you are ready to serve. But while you're watching this, I can tell you a couple of facts here. Brussels sprouts are incredibly good for you. A half cup of Brussels sprouts will give you 28 calories, 2 grams of protein, 6 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber, 137% of your daily vitamin K, 81% of your vitamin C, and then it's got vitamin A, folate, manganese, and a bunch of antioxidants, and it is just all around really, really good for you. This is one of nature's best vegetables that you can eat. As you can see, I got a really caramelized bottom to these. I may have cooked them a little bit longer than what I probably should have, or maybe put it in right after it had preheated so it didn't get that extra little second of cook time. But I think that these turned out really, really delicious, and I hope you like them as well. So, not too bad on the difficulty scale. It was pretty simple, pretty easy, and of course, when you've got the sauce and stuff ready to go, it makes it a lot easier. But we have some nice roasted Brussels sprouts that are hot with the sauce mixed on it. And then we've got some roasted Brussels sprouts that are now cold with a lovely dipping sauce. And you know, these were of course made in the oven, these were made in the air fryer. Go ahead, try them. All
right, air fried Brussels sprout.
Yep.
With the dressing on it. Whoa.
See, something happens there with that sauce because it like absorbs into it. It gets all in through the layers. Is really, really nice. Of course, I did cook these a bit longer than what I wanted to. So they are a bit darker than what I would have wanted, but doesn't matter. They still taste awesome. It's good stuff. I got more.
Wow.
It's really good hot. You can have this as like a side dish, or you can have this as just a meal yourself. The great thing about Brussels sprouts is that because of all the layers involved, like this, you can see, they have a real chewy texture to them. And they absorb a ton of flavor because the flavor actually gets down inside of it and like absorbs throughout the entire thing. And so you get these lovely little, just solid pieces of goodness with whatever the seasoning or whatever the dressing is that you use on them. This is great. It's almost like eating meat sometimes, just by how good and chewy it actually is.
So this display here, these are the ones that we did in the oven. Because of course, since we were doing the air fryer, which, you know, we love our new air fryer.
Yeah.
It's no secret. It's been quite amazing to use. But I told Brian, I said, if we're gonna do this recipe, we have to do the regular oven because not everyone has an air fryer.
Yeah, true.
And so I hate when I watch recipe videos that require a tool that I don't have and there's no explanation of like how to do it otherwise, but usually then we just experiment. So we did the experimenting for you and we cooked these in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes?
25.
No, 25 minutes. Now, we actually use the baking tray that comes with the air fryer, which is a very non-stick. What kind of is? It's crazy.
It's like a ceramic kind of coating. It's just magic.
The best.
We love that pan a lot.
And so we use that, but if you don't have one of those kind of trays, I would recommend using the Silpat to cook it in the oven and then it won't stick, or you could use parchment paper as well, but the Silpat is so much cooler.
Yeah.
And reusable. But as I was putting these out, I was just making a little spread just for some photo shoot opportunities, which if you check out the blog post on our website, not only can you get the printable recipe for this and for the dressing, for the Brussels sprouts, everything, you can also see all the photos that I take of all of our recipes, which I always have fun doing. But I was making this little spread, and then I thought, as I was in the elevator on the way back to our apartment, from going up to the rooftop to take photos, I thought, actually, this would be a nice little spread for like a little party or something. You just put these out and you have like a nice little dip in the middle. I'm just going to use my hand. So you just dip them in here and there you go.
Nice. I think this actually works really, really well too.
Ooh. Very glamorous eating Brussels sprouts on video.
Yeah, I double dipped. I don't care.
I just double dipped too. Oops.
It's only for us.
But yeah.
See, it's just nice because it's cold and they're like little nuggets of goodness.
But this would be nice if you were having like say we were doing like our little Valentine's meal. This would be a nice little appetizer that would be fun and different. But yeah, you can just have it as like a little dip. Or Ryan was pointing out, you could take these when they're cold and then mix the dressing on.
Yeah.
I need a napkin.
You do.
I never plan for these things.
It's so good though. I mean, it's the dip itself, you know, the dressing just works really, really well with this sort of a texture.
But I like how these kind of get a little bit caramelized and, you know, putting that lemon juice I think really helps them when they're cooking. But yeah, who knew that Brussels sprouts were so tasty?
Lots of people.
I don't know. I've always looked at them and been like, ew. You know, I feel like they have a bad reputation.
Yeah, but I think they've got a great taste.
Yes.
And a great texture. And then this dressing just brings everything together, makes it all taste really, really good. But like I said, even if you just roast them with some lemon juice, like they turn out really good because they've just got a naturally sort of subtly sweet flavor to them. They've got that chewy texture to them. And then when they get a little bit caramelized on the bottoms there, it just, everything works so well together. And you don't need to do much to do it to make them taste really, really good. But I mean, I want to try a bunch of different recipes using Brussels sprouts. You can totally try it. So I got to ask though, which one do you think is your favorite? This one, the hot one with the dressing on it? Yeah, it's kind of my favorite too. I've eaten this like
really
3 times
too.
Already. Every time she bought it, she was like, you know, you gonna make Brussels sprouts more? I was like, yes, I'm gonna make more Brussels sprouts. So you get these and they turn out just
we've got plenty.
So nice.
So yeah. Also, Brian was saying maybe this dressing would be good on like a cold broccoli salad. There's so many different things you can do with it. So comment below and let us know if you make the dressing and what you eat it on, if you eat it on a salad or you find some other great way of using it, so we can test that out. But otherwise, I think we just need to tell them to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click the bell if you haven't clicked the bell, so you'll get notified whenever we do post a video.
Yep.
Also, we're doing live streams now, so you will get notified when we have live streams.
That's true. We do like the live streams quite a bit,
twice
actually.
a month. Check out the blog post because there's really cool photos and recipes and printable stuff. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, all that jazz. All the links are in the description of this video. Like it. Like the video, click the like button, and share it. Share it with everybody. Share it with your friends and your family and anybody you think will like Brussels sprouts.
Or dressing.
Or dressing.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we got.
That's definitely all I've got.
Let's eat some Brussels sprouts. Brussels. Goodbye.
We'll see you next time on Crocs in the Kitchen. Bye.
I did the outro.
You did the outro. You did a wonderful outro.
Fork twirl. Bam.